if we go back, so at a certain point, I guess you had a discussion about should we set up, and then lockdown happened, and then it was a case of should we give this a go? What
Oh
was
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, lockdown happened. And in the middle of lockdown, where there was very little we could do, that's when we decided to give it
okay?
a go. We were like, look at everything that's happening in the world. We still want to do this. It's now or never.
But there was a big
So yeah,
growth in the sector, I believe, because it's very comfortable clothes. But it's almost where. So from that point, then, did you have stock, or at the moment you had nothing? You had maybe designs. So when was
we had no
this?
design. This was so we made the decision in November 2020.
Okay.
Um, and I'm going to be really honest with you, Steve. In March 2021, so 5 months later, we were still no further forward. We'd spent a lot of money on trying to develop some clothes with somebody in the Northeast who just didn't understand what we wanted to
Got you.
achieve. We had a last chance meeting with someone in the Midlands
Okay.
that we knew from Debs's husband's career 20 years ago. And we just took a punt and we were like, this is our last chance saloon. If this guy doesn't come through for us, we're just going to go and buy a holiday let and rent it out. That's what we actually
Yeah.
said, wasn't it? And 5 hours later, we walked out of that meeting in the Midlands after sitting around a table with a really credible design team as well, and a manufacturer and a logistics partner. He'd got them all in one room for us, and we had a team,
Wow.
and they knew what we wanted. And 6 weeks later, all our designs were signed off, and they went to production.
Wow.
And we had to order big because we had to prove ourselves.
How big is big? Just
That
to
was
try and get a feel. As in, just like
um,
number of units. You don't have to put a price to it. It's just
thousands, yeah,
wow.
thousands of units, yeah.
Thousands and thousands.
So I think our first order was around 9,000 units of
Wow.
different items, which was multiple of tens of thousands of pounds, which was really terrifying. And then we went on sale on the 21st of August 2021.
Wow. That's still mega
So yeah,
impressive. So in less than a year, from November 2020 to actually get a real thing on sale, I think
oh
that's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
When you say it like that, when somebody says that to us, it's really nice to hear because we don't think that
I
way.
know, definitely. Like so I wrote a book, and that's a large part of what my business is kind of built on. Writing the book took a few years, but then when lockdown happened, I wrote it up, did all the graphic design, and that took me over a year to do that. And that was just a book, never mind 9,000 pieces. And it's no, that's because what's also interesting is the fact that it was Deb's husband's contact. So it was your physical network of people that you'd kind of met in the past. Obviously came good, which is quite cool. But it's also disappointing that people let you down. But I think that comes down to your gut feel on how important it is to avoid. I'm not going to say
Learning curve, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
And I think there's has been a lot of people along the way, because activewear is for a lot of people is a set thing. It's a set shape. It's a set look. And we were trying to go completely against all of that and trying to not make things tight fitted,
yeah.
and generic. We were trying to design for specific body shapes, which means not every item that we sell has exactly the same size and scale,
Mm-hmm.
because there's certain items are made for different shapes of
Yeah.
women,
But the thing
where
is,
they hold their weight
but through
like that.
doing that, what you've done is create a unique brand position, which actually sets you apart from. I'm going to pick Gymshark again, but it's almost where every brand should do that. Where if you look at a cluster, you look at the groups where Adidas, Nike, Gymshark, others, if they're all doing something very similar, it makes you can't outcompete them on stock or marketing spend or whichever. So I would, and it makes perfect sense to completely pivot and go the opposite, especially if it's an underserved kind of market. Do you remember the first time your first sale ever came in?
Oh, absolutely. So where is it? It's over there, actually. So we've got a little bell. Get the bell. So we bought this little bell off Amazon, like £2 bell, little bell.
That's cool.
And we did a pre-sale. We did a pre-sale before the website went live. We did a pre-sale 4 weeks before in July 2021, and we opened it to invitation only.
Nice.
And it was
Clever.
people that we knew had been following us, who had supported us, who had bought pairs of leggings over the previous 7 years. And I think on that first opening day, we sold about £3,000 on that pre-sale day. And obviously it was invitation only. There were about 100 invites went out. And we had that little bell, and we sat and rang that bell all day, whilst every time we made a sale. But actually, even still now, nearly 2 years on, we still have a theoretic, like a bell, don't we? So we have a ching. So every time we make a sale now, one of us will shout ching. And if we're not together, one of us will text the other with a little bell emoji. It's even still now. And you know, we were doing some work on kind of like where we want to be. And I had a meeting with someone, and she was like, the best place to be ever was where I had to silence the ching, where I had to turn the ching. And we're like, we want to mute the ching. We don't want the ching to stop. We want to be able to mute it.
No,
we wanted to turn from a ching to a consistent tone.
Yeah.
But I think people do underestimate how important it is to. I remember when I got my first sale, and it's because what's important is the fact that you put your heart and soul into something. You try and create something, but you never actually know, is anyone going to want it? And then when they're willing to spend their hard-earned money on something you've created, is really, I think it's very cool. And then it's that balance of where, again, you know, it almost there's a differentiation, you know, a way to differentiate your company versus others. It'll be on the feedback and making people feel special, because you can, you know, relate to those customers and build a relationship there in a way that a Gymshark can't. And it's that kind of thing. If there's loads of ways that smaller businesses can outcompete a Nike, because actually you get to know your distinct community better than other people, which I think is pretty cool.